Ladies and gentlemen, a very, very good morning. It gives me immense pleasure to welcome you all to the second edition of the Indian Education Congress. We at Chand and Franchise India have jointly worked together on the Congress over past 2 years. The objective of this Congress is to bring together all stakeholders in the field of education on a single platform. Chand Group has built its equity over the years. This recognition has definitely not come overnight and is a result of years of devotion and dedication of visionaries and people working in this organization. It would not be out of place to say 7 decades of our services in Indian education sector have empowered 3 generations of Indians to contribute in building today's knowledge economy. The first publishing house today still matches international publishing giants in Indian education industry. And now we have emerged as a knowledge corporation with technology, professional development, assessment, and vocational education as products and services. Today, we not only lead in publishing from school books to higher academics, competitive and professional books, but have added to our portfolio Chand Harcourt, a new generation interactive digital learning solution for schools, Chand EduTech, simulation-based real-life virtual learning solutions for engineering colleges. We provide teacher training, professional development to schools, assessment, consulting, and analytics. And we also partner with World Bank subsidiary IFC on business edge programs for SME development and entrepreneurship programs. The theme of this morning's inaugural session is Literate India, Building a Knowledge Economy. If we wish to build a knowledge economy based on a literate India, the most important aspect is there has to be an interaction between multiple stakeholders. There has to be a debate on policy. There has to be an exchange of knowledge and thoughts. The new technologies need to be explored. Solutions and practices not only need to be shared, but need to be implemented. Partnerships need to be built. And there has to be a system of an integration which need to evolve between trusts, societies, schools, institutions, policymakers, state and central government, businesses, researchers, corporate entities, service providers, and financial institutions. Before I invite our panelists to today's inaugural session I would like to share with you some thoughts. These are born out of my personal experience and perhaps are common to what many of us may have experienced as individuals in our businesses and our personal professional interaction. You go to one of the best schools in the country, you qualify yourself professionally, you work with some of the best companies in the world, you know what is required in terms of best practices in the corporate world. You talk about quality, you talk about what should be happening in the business. So seemingly, I think if you have that kind of a background and an experience, you can call yourself to be educated. But with this background, if you go to a school today in India and try to speak to the principal, which seemingly difficult, in most of the cases unreachable, try to talk to a teacher about what's the requirement of the real-time world. As an employer, you recruit many people and you go to one of the professional educational institutions or an engineering college as an engineer and try to say that this is what is needed in the real world. This is what is required in terms of application of knowledge. I find that in most of the cases, you will not be even able to reach out. And you will be branded as people from the corporate world who should not be talking about education. So one of my questions is that who should be speaking about education? Just being in a chair, just heading a school, just being in a policy-making position, or people who have gathered here today to dwell upon that how to build a literate India and where the education should go. While it is still a challenge in that most of the cases, when you go to a policymaker and educationist and try to present research and new developments in education, You are branded as a private player, out to push for business and not listen for thoughts and intellectual property which can be brought to contribute for development. The private sector for the business is paying its taxes. It is involved in CSR and trying to put best foot forward for development of education. Why still there is this stigma of education as a business? At the same time, on the other hand, why the investors and financial institutions are trying to apply the same ratios and indicators in education of valuation game and share prices? I still fail to understand. When we talk about a literate India and a knowledge economy, who are those who are supposed to interact and decide about education? Policymakers, educationists alone, who know themselves that there is a big disconnect between center and state in education, higher education institutions who accept the challenge in delivery in quality. We at Eschand have founded the first college in Eastern Delhi, Shamlal College, way back in 1960s. The regulations, the governing framework stops us from charting new paths, even appraisal system and accountability, everything is well predefined. There are many questions which remain unattended. There are challenges which have become increasingly difficult over the years, and there is no realization in spite of various debates on how education should move or how to establish an effective and deliverable network. It is important to interact outside routine and explore and to build to consolidate a blueprint and deliver efficiently. Our country has disadvantages of diversity, population, lack of resources, equity and uniform access, and more profoundly when we talk about education. A knowledge economy and a literate India can be built if we keep in mind these basic facts. With this objective, we have tried to bring on a singular platform Indian Education Congress. It was a small step last year, and this year we want to take another little bigger step, but I feel that seeing all of you here encourages us all that we should have an event which becomes a singular platform for everyone who is involved in business of education. I would like to thank Mr. Dinesh Junjunwala and the management of Eschand Group to support me and Franchise India in taking this initiative forward. I would like to thank Mr. Naveen Joshi and the entire Eschand team for putting up all their best. I would like to acknowledge and appreciate Mr. Gaurav Maria, Mrs. Ritu Maria, Sachin Maria, and complete Franchise India team. We are all here with our intent to participate. Let me conclude for all of us at Indian Education Congress by this Vedic chant. Om Sehna Vavatu, Om Sehna Bhunaktu, Seh Viryam Karvavahi, Tejasvina Vidhitumastu Ya Vidushavahi. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti.